Hey folks, alright, it's the first week of June, school's almost out, and you might be starting to look and think about, alright, now's the time to start actively shopping and buying a house in Cochrane, Alberta. What's the market doing? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through Cochrane specific details and how it compares to Calgary and give you a general outlook of what's going on in Cochrane, Alberta today. Stick around because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you find success in this current market. Cochrane's real estate market, much like Calgary and the surrounding areas, is continuing to trend upwards. In fact, since January 1st, Cochrane's median price has seen a $60,000 increase. That's right, I didn't stutter. $60,000 price increase for Cochrane's median price. Couple that price increase with a dropping monthly inventory, where in January we had almost 3 months of inventory, where right now at the end of May we're sitting at just over 1. And if I updated myself just until this morning here, we're sitting like right at 1. So that's a huge drop just in the first 6 months this year. So what that means is that we're seeing a dropping inventory, which is going to continue this current seller's market that we're in. Okay, what am I going to be paying for a home in Cochrane? Well, if you remember back 3-4 years ago, you used to be able to go in and look at a home and offer under list and likely get accepted. Well, in today's market, that's just not the case. So homes right now in Cochrane for the past 2 months have been selling at a 100% sales to sold price ratio. So what that means is every active listing that's for sale in the past month has sold at or above list price. The next thing we're seeing in Cochrane is a lower than normal new listing count. So because our inventory is so low, we're just not seeing the new listings come up, which will take some of that pressure off. And a lot of that may be due to the rising interest rates. But hey, everyone said for the past couple of years that with these rate increases, the market's going to slow, and it just hasn't. In fact, it's actually done the opposite, and we've just seen continual growth. So keep that in mind. If you're worried about the rates, get yourself a good mortgage broker. The market here in Cochrane is actually being driven by just a lack of new listings. So when we look at a monthly outlook, we can kind of look at one other stat, which is the sales to list ratio. And so what that's doing is it's just looking at how many new listings came out versus how many sold in that prior month. And right now, we're seeing about 90% as our listing ratio. So what that basically means is for every 100 new listings that come on the market, 90 of them sell that month. So you're seeing a very low level of inventory being carried over from period to period. And I'm going to show you this graph right here over the past 7 days just to kind of highlight that. So we're sitting at almost exactly that ratio right now, in where we have 81 listings that are either sold or pending. And in today's market, the pending will eventually go sold. Very rarely are we going to see a deal go cold here. And then we're seeing 91 new listings show up. And this is just kind of for the Cochrane and surrounding areas. So I've included the rural properties in Rocky View and Mountain View, just to give a little bit more of a wider scope. Well, here are my 2 tips for buyers. First, be flexible and have an open schedule. Right now, listings are going to come up, and in the neighborhoods that I'm currently watching for a current client, homes are selling anywhere from 3 to 6 days. So you've got to be able to get in and see that home early and be ready to act. So my second tip ties into the first one. Being ready to act in this market is so important, and one of the best ways you can do that is to call your local mortgage broker and get yourself pre-approved. That way you're not worried about financing, and that just bolsters your deal when, hey, we can communicate on our end that you as the buyer are pre-approved and that financing is likely not going to be something that holds this deal up. So let's make your deal strong. Just to close out my buyer comments here, not only do you have to be flexible and be ready to go and see a listing potentially short notice, but you need to find a realtor who also has that same mentality and is going to be ready to act. If you don't have somebody in your life right now that you trust as your realtor, I'd love to be that person, and I'd love to get out there and set up some showings for you and help you navigate this market. Now for my 1 seller's tip. Know where you're going to go. So I've heard this from multiple realtors now, and I've talked to a few mortgage brokers, and his clients are being told, list your home. And that way when you go to buy your new home, you don't have the conditional home sale clause, which yes, is super important and will make your deal really strong if you don't have that home sale clause. But if you have nowhere to live, that may not be your strongest suit, especially with young kids. That could be a very tough situation to be in. So whether it's knowing that you can rent and have an opening lined up, which right now there is not a lot of open rentals, and that market is pretty competitive as well. Or maybe you have family members who have a basement suite or rooms in the basement or a spare bedroom, and you don't have a young family and you're able to kind of make that work. That's great. But coming from somebody who sold my house prior to having a new one to live in, that transition period is very difficult. So make sure you have a plan. Discuss that options with your realtor. If you don't have one, I'd love to be him. And you know what? With this market, with your home selling fast, there may be alternative ways to make your deal strong without actually putting a conditional home sale into the purchase contract. So if you have any questions about that, I'd love to chat with you and set up a little meet and greet. And then again here, I hope this video was helpful. I hope I gave you some interesting insights into what Cochrane is doing in compared to Calgary. Lastly, if you were thinking about moving to Cochrane and you're thinking about moving into a detached style home, now would be a great time. Cochrane is the only community either within Calgary or surrounding where the benchmark price for single family detached homes decreased in May. So if you're looking for somewhere where there was a slight dip to capitalize on, Cochrane's the place for you. Again, I hope this video was super helpful. I'd love to help you in your journey of buying a new home and navigating to this crazy fast seller's market that we're currently in. So if you don't have a realtor that you're currently working with, or you need a realtor who has more free time that's willing to jump on a listing and be mobile with you, please reach out. My contact information is in the description below, and I'll also include my website in the pinned comment below. And I'd love to meet you and help you navigate this market.